हेलो एवरीवन, गुड आफ्टरनून टू यू ऑल। मैं हूं अजय द्विवेदी एंड यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम एट द डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ राउज एकेडमी। You know that by today we are going to start a new segment of the crack course which was launched by the crack academy, and that is concerning to the whole history. In fact, if you know that in UPSC prelims examination, history has a very important role, and whether that is the segment of ancient history, whether that is the segment of medieval history, modern, and even the cultural history. So all of the first, before going on the further discussion of our subject, all of the first we have to think and we have to know that what is the situation of the questions, what are the numbers of the questions which were asked in the previous years, whether that was from the ancient history segment, medieval history and modern history segment, and especially from the cultural segment. One another thing, that if we see the numbers of the questions of every and each particular segment, we all have to also know that by which segment which type of questions are asking, means the nature of the question we all have to know, because you know that getting success is not you can say a consequence of a hard labor. In fact, it is a static, or you can say it is a technique by which you can beat any examination, whether that is the UPSC examination or any other. So let's all of us we have to know about the previous year's question papers and looks at this diagram, and by this diagram we can analyze that what is the nature of the UPSC and especially what are the length of the questions in history which are asking in the different years. So look, as we all know that the pattern was changed in 2013 of UPSC. But if we go before the from the 2011, we have a number of series, we have the particular numbers of each and every segment. So look that in 2011, 2 questions were asked from the ancient history. Then if you see in 2012, once again 2 questions, in 13 2, then in 14 only nothing, in fact there was nothing question, means 0 question. In 2015 once again only 1 question. In 2016 there were 3 questions once again. If we see the graph of 2017, then we once again find that the number of the questions were same, means 1 0. 19 2 questions, in 20 everything was changed. In fact, if you see that the year of 2020 was a very important year as per the concern of the questions of ancient history. 6 question, in fact it was a very you can say important year for the ancient history, because no year was in which these types of questions were asked in ancient history. In 2021 you can say once again 3 questions, it was also a very important questions series. Then in 2021-22 there was only 1 question. So we know that if we see the ratio of ancient history segment, then we find that there are 2 or 3 questions are asking from the previous years, from the 2011 to 2022 recent year. If you see the medieval history segment, the condition was not very good, as you can also see the 0 0 0 and 2 question in 2014, in 15 1, in 2016 3, then once again 1 1 2 2, and then once again in from the 2021 to 22 the number of the questions were increased. 3 questions from the medieval history. Then modern history segment is already very you can say precious or important segment for the UPSC, and it is a very interesting zone of the UPSC. So you can see the modern history segment, 9 question from the 2011, 10 question in 2012. Once again 13 in 13, 6, 5, 7, 6, 7, and the most important year was 2018 when 13 questions were asked in modern history segment. Once again, if we see, then we find then 6 question, 8 question, 9 question, and the 2022 was very inferior year for the modern history segment. Only 4 questions were asked. It means that UPSC changed its nature. One another point, one another thing to which about which I just want to discuss, that was the number of or the quantity of the questions were only changed, or the nature of the questions are also changing. We also have to see, but after that, after the discussion of the cultural segment, I will come on that particular point. See, in the cultural segment, it is also very interesting genre of UPSC, like 2 questions in 2011, then 8 question in 2012, then 6, and 2014 13 questions. You can just imagine that out of 100, if the 13 questions are asking from any particular segment of any history segment, then you can just imagine that how important is this segment. 13 questions are asking. Now if you see the another years, then 4 questions, 5, 7, 6, 3, 5, and once again 8 question. So finally, if you see the total evaluation of the questions asking from the history segment is now that, if you once again just try to understand, then in 2011 13 questions, then in 2012 20 questions, then 14, 20, and then 13, 16, 14, 21. What can be imagined by these numbers of questions? Try to understand that once the question number of questions are increasing, once again next year the number of question is क्या हो रहे हैं, घट रहे हैं, डिक्रीज हो रहे हैं. once again फिर से once again the question number of questions are increasing, once again in decrease हो रहे हैं, then once again increasement, फिर down, once again up, down, up, and then same situation, then once again down. So you can just imagine that what will be in the next year. Next year mean in 2023, about which we are going to plan a crack course for the UPSC, and especially when I am discussing about the history segment, then all of the first we have to be clear, we have to keep clearly that in 2023 the number of questions will be absolutely increase. मैं आपको पहले से बता दे रहा हूं कि the number of question will be 20 to 21. It means the year of 2023 will be once again very better for the history segment. It is my personal idea. What about I am talking to you, that is because of my personal experience, whatever I am teaching for the last 12 or 13 years in the different institution of Delhi. So it is my personal opinion that in 2023 the number of questions may be 20 to 21, or it may be इससे भी ज़्यादा हो जाए. So just try to understand that all of the first this year we have to focus more and more in this history segment, and especially the cultural and the modern history segment. One another point about which I just want to draw your attention, that is that if we see the number, the nature of the questions means there was a time when the questions were asking from a very particular zone, like administrative system, economy, especially the trade system, foreign trade as well as the internal trade. But if we see the questions which are asking from the you can say which are asking from 2020 to 21-22, it seems to me that once again the nature of the questions are also changing by UPSC. As I told you that there was a time that when everything was asking by the administrative system in ancient history as well as the economic system. But now by the 2020, the nature of the question has been already changed. If we see the 2021 question or 20 question in 2020, the nature of the question of ancient history as well as the medieval history, then we find that the question were asked from the political history segment. Like there was a question about the Genghis Khan. It was concerning to the political history. About the Muhammad bin Tughlaq in medieval history. It was also concerning to the political history. If we go in the ancient history segment, then the nature of the questions are also changing. Last year, some questions were asked from the pillar edict or rock edict of Ashoka. So it seems to me that the nature of the question is already changing. Like, what is my personal feeling that something is looking me to equal than of the UPPSC. So all of the first we have to be clear, about this point, that the number of questions from the ancient and medieval is increasing, especially the medieval questions are increasing. And then once another point is that the nature of question are also changing. One, as I told you oftenly in your classrooms, that getting success is your art. It is not, you cannot say that if you are doing work, if you are doing hard work, then absolutely you will get success. No. As I told often, that getting success is an art, means you have to plan your tactics. You have to plan that how you can beat your examination. You have to plan that how you can crack your examination. Then all of the first, you have to design your planning, that what I have to do and how can I achieve my achievements. So all of the first, I hope that now you are well aware that by which way we have to discuss. It is a crack course, so we are not going to discuss all you can say segment, all the chapters and all the things what is concerning to the ancient, medieval and modern. We will only focus on some important points which are important, which are generally concerning to the current scenarios. So what is the reflection of current in your subject, we will also discuss, especially in the segment of culture as well as the modern history segment. We will also see all about that. Okay. So I think now we have to discuss about one of any segment, and because ancient history segment is already the first segment of history, then all of the first we will try to understand this segment. So we will see some general talking, and we will also discuss about the event, what's happened in the current scenario, and what kind of questions may be asked, we will also discuss in your classroom. So let's come with me, and we will start from this segment, ancient history segment. So come, and how we can draw and how we can start our study about the crack course. So all of the first, ancient history segment. You know that ancient history segment, we can also see that before going on ancient history segment, we can also see that history segment is already divided into three parts. Okay, like we can see here that history can be divided into three segments. It means I am not going to talk about the ancient, medieval and modern. You can say that prehistoric period, then proto-historic period, and then historic period. Okay, historic period. So let's see. We all know that prehistoric period means the time from where we don't have any clear written evidences. It means in this prehistoric period we have to talk about the Stone Age. Stone Age. Then protohistoric period, it means we have to talk about the Indus Valley civilization. And then from the Vedic period, our history segment start. So all of the first, there is once again a question that are we going to read about this prehistoric segment? No, we are not going to start or read about this prehistoric segment. Although you can say that there was a year in 2020, a question was asked, 2021, a question was asked from this segment, but that was concerning to the current scenario, and that's why the question was asked. Okay. If we see the previous year's question papers, for, especially in UPSC, then we couldn't find even a single question from this segment. So we are not going to waste our time, because you know that what is our what types of question, how many questions may ask from this segment, only 2 or 3, then why unnecessary we have to focus on this point. Okay, we are not going to discuss about this point. Okay, now we will start from this segment, proto-historic segment, means Indus Valley segment. Okay, then especially we will talk about the historic segment. But before going on further discussion, once again I just want to draw your attention about a very important point. Try to understand. You know that this historic segment is divided into 3 parts. Okay, ancient, medieval and modern. Okay, ancient, medieval and modern. Now if we see these 2 segments, ancient, medieval, then we find that there are some questions which are looking very difficult. Like there was a question which was asked in 2020 about that what was Banyan, that was concerning to the traders. So these types of these types of questions which are concerning to the terminology, we all have to focus. So in these 2 segments, the questions are asking related to the terminology. Okay, questions are asking concerning to the terminology. Means क्या है कि आपको कोई शब्द दे दिया जाएगा and commission will ask question concerning to that terminology. Now you feel that from where this question has been asked, it is very typical, but you don't have to be hesitate. आपको एक मैं छोटा सा सिंपल सा पॉइंट दूंगा, and there will be some matters concerning to these terminologies. 2 pages about the ancient history and 2 pages from the medieval history. You know that these terminologies are asking from the, especially from the some special zone like religion, then economy, especially the trade. Okay, trade, and then already concerning about the society. अब यहां से रिलेटेड करके कोई शब्द दे दिया जाता है, आपको लगता है बहुत टिपिकल है, आपको उसमें कुछ दिमाग में नहीं लगाना है. मैंने कहा कि इट इज अ आर्ट, इट इज एन आर्ट, कला है ये डिफीट करना किसी को. तो ये 2 पेजेस के मैं आपको एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री का दूंगा पॉइंट, और ये 2 पेज का मैं दूंगा मेडिवल से. एंड यू कैन रीड दैट, you can say terminologies like in very earlier age when you were in 3rd or 4th class. तो आप एक जैसे कहते हैं ना, लर्न करते हैं कोई चीज कि सिनोनियम या फिर एंटोनियम, ऐसे इन टर्म को रट लेना है और एक एक दो बार देख लेना है, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि यहां से आपका काम हो जाएगा. तो देखो, there are if we see the ratio of ancient and medieval history segment, then we find that maximum 3 questions. So if we can catch up one question from this terminology, then only one or two questions remain. एक या दो क्वेश्चन बन रहे हैं. इसके लिए अब हमें कहां फोकस करना है? इसके लिए हमें फोकस करना होगा एक जो ट्रेडिशनल व्यू यूपीएससी का चला रहा है, ट्रेडिशनल व्यू. एंड ट्रेडिशनल व्यू क्या है? व्हाट इज द ट्रेडिशनल व्यू? ट्रेडिशनल व्यू इज दैट वी हैव टू फोकस अबाउट द इकोनॉमी सिस्टम एंड स्पेशली अबाउट द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. ओके, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और इकोनॉमी से हमें क्वेश्चंस देखने होंगे. We will also discuss some points concerning to the society. Okay, society से भी concerning कुछ points देखेंगे, but बहुत ज्यादा इस पर फोकस नहीं करेंगे. तो ये एंशिएंट एंड मेडिवल में हमारा ये तरीका होगा पढ़ने का. ओके, एक तरफ हम टर्मिनोलॉजी लेंगे दो पेज में, that will be concerning to the ancient as well as the medieval history segment. And once again we will also discuss about the the traditional view of UPSC will focus on economy and especially on administrative system. Okay, and the most important, you can say, points concerning to the every chapter that is related to art and culture will be already the part of our art and culture. Like if we are going to discuss about the Indus Valley civilization, then we will see about the society, about the political situation, about the economy when we are discussing about the ancient history. But when we will discuss about the art and culture, we will also see especially the special points of the Indus Valley civilization, like religion of Indus Valley civilization, then once town planning of Indus Valley civilization, then some findings of Indus Valley civilization concerning to the art and culture we will also discuss in the under the segment of what? Art and culture. Okay, is it clear? So we will discuss generally in ancient and medieval. So we have to only seek two questions. I promise to you that this one question that is concerning to the terminology, I will assure that कि मैं यहां से काम कर दूंगा आपका. अब बचता है हमारे पास दो क्वेश्चन, उसे हमें कवर करना है. उसी के लिए हम बहुत नहीं पढ़ना है, इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स पर कवर करने हैं, बहुत ज्यादा इस पर फोकस नहीं करना है. इज इट क्लियर टू एवरीबॉडी? ओके, चलिए आगे बढ़ा जाए फिर. सो नाउ अब यहां से हमारी कहानी शुरू होती है एंड वी आर गोइंग टू टेक द फर्स्ट चैप्टर ऑफ एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री एंड दैट इज द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर and proto-historic age means Indus Valley civilization, or we can say Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization. This is our first chapter, okay, about which we have to discuss. Then after that we will discuss about the next, or you can say another chapters. So come and just try to understand. Look, Harappan civilization. So all of the first some questions are asking from the nomenclature, means कि नाम कैसे पड़ा. तो generally you can say that there are different types of name of this civilization, like Harappa civilization, Indus Valley civilization, Bronze civilization, first urban civilization. तो बड़े सिंपल से चीजें हैं. तो क्वेश्चन ये बनता है कि क्या इन सिंपल सी बातों से भी हमारा क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. तो वी विल डिस्कस कंसर्निंग टू द क्वेश्चंस, इसीलिए मैंने यहां पर क्वेश्चन लिखा है. एक एक पॉइंट लेते हुए क्वेश्चन कैसे हमारे बनेंगे यहां पर, इस तरीके से हम डिस्कशन करेंगे ताकि आपके दिमाग में एक क्लियरिटी भी आए, ट्रांसपेरेंसी भी आए और आप उस चीज को अचीव भी कर पाए जिसके लिए हम यहां पर मतलब आए हुए हैं. तो समझिएगा जरा. सबसे पहला हमारा क्वेश्चन है अबाउट द नेम और नॉमेनक्लेचर ऑफ सिविलाइजेशन. नाम कैसे पड़ा. तो लाइक जैसा कि आप कहते हैं